Direct Connection is made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities and is made possible by the generous support of our members. Thank you. Live from Maryland Public Television, this is Direct Connection with Jeff Salkin.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for Direct Connection. Just ahead, new help for seniors living alone. But first tonight, a wet spring and now a wet summer have contributed to the normal mosquito population tripling. What can you do to avoid getting bitten or even getting sick? Joining us in the studio, entomology professor Mike Raup of the University of Maryland. Mike, it's great to see you again.
It's great to be here again with you, Jeff.
With your friends.
Yeah, I brought about 100 of these hungry little vampires. These are Aedes mosquitoes.
What does that mean?
Well, it's a type of mosquito. These would be the ones like our little fearless friends, the Asian tigers that bring hours of pain and misery during the daytime when we're working outdoors in the lawn. As you can see, these little vampires are a little bit hungry. It's a little bit chilly, but I'm not sure if you can get the close-up here.
Does it
look pretty good?
Oh, yeah. Why did you stick your hand in the
Well,
mosquito bites?
you're right. This was a foolish thing for a professor to do, wasn't it? I really wanted to show that these little gals were quite hungry. And now what we're going to do is show that these mosquito repellents really work. Now, one of my favorites, this is a botanically based one. This is oil of lemon eucalyptus. It's derived from a tree. And this is one I really like to use when I'm working out the yard for maybe 4 hours. So if you'll let me, I'm going to go over here. We'll just spritz that a little bit. You could see those little vampires were hungry just a moment again. Sure, absolutely.
So this is commercial stuff?
Absolutely, yeah. These things you can get in outdoor stores? No, absolutely not. And we can talk a little bit more about those guys in just a minute here.
It doesn't smell too bad.
No, it's really nice. And again, for folks that want a botanically based mosquito repellent, as I said, this is going to give 4 or 5 hours in the yard. It's one I really like to use outside during this time of year. And as you can see, they're coming over to take a look, but they're saying, I don't think we're going there. Okay, so pretty nice.
The number one question in the office talking about mosquitoes is that some people are terrorized by them.
Absolutely.
They swarm to them. I think either I'm not paying attention or I can cut the grass, I could do yard work and not have a problem.
Sure.
So do I smell bad? I mean, do mosquitoes...
No, you don't smell bad,
do they
Jeff,
differentiate?
You smell just fine. Yes, they absolutely do. Mosquitoes are attracted primarily to carbon dioxide. That's a gas we all give off due to respiration. Lactic acid, again, when we're sweating, we give off lactic acid, but then it gets a little bit tricky. The human body, and some give off more than others, gives off more than 100 different types of volatile compounds. And it's that unique blend of these volatile compounds that make one person an attractor, like my wife, or some person like yourself non-attractive to mosquitoes. So it's kind of that unique blend that those mosquitoes are picking up on.
So the various repellents, do they cover, is it something the mosquitoes want to get away from, or does it obscure the fact that here's a carbon dioxide emitter?
Very good. That's a great question. Some are actually truly repellent. Others are kind of cloaking devices, like in Star Trek, the Klingons. They have cloaking devices. It simply blinds those mosquitoes' receptors so they no longer recognize you as a food source.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question for the professor about mosquitoes or anything else that crawls or flies, you can give us a call. We'll have the number up on the screen. You can also email your questions now. The email address is livequestions@mpt.org. I also read it could have something to do with your blood type. Are they that discerning?
You know, I've looked into that a little bit, and I really can't find documentation that it's a blood type thing. We know, for example, that pregnant women, because of the higher metabolism probably, will be better attractors than women that are not pregnant. Again, carrying that child, metabolism goes up. Again, probably a little bit more CO2, a little bit more lactic acid, and other compounds perhaps are attracting. Again, body size, physical activity, these will all be things that help to attract mosquitoes differentially.
Now, say it stops raining at some point, and you're having a picnic, cookout. You don't want your backyard to look like the inside of this. How do we keep? And I understand you've told us before that these guys aren't flying across country. They stay pretty much where they're born.
Pretty local.
So how do we keep these guys out of our yards?
It's a grand question. Number one, the thing to do to keep them out of your yard is to reduce the sites where they breed. It's very difficult this time of year. We had all the rain. We've got a lot of standing waters. We've got pools now. That's going to breed mosquitoes. If you have a pool of water you can't drain, I've got a swale in my front yard. You can use these. These are called mosquito dunks. These are environmentally safe. It's called Bacillus thuringiensis israeliensis. It's simply a soil microbe that makes a protein that's going to kill mosquito larvae. You take these, you toss them in that pool of standing water, it's going to kill them. You can also eliminate all the water breeding sites. Right now, with all the rainfall, we have containers, an old flower pot, a wheelbarrow, the bird bath, a plugged drain in your house. All of those water sources must be eliminated. They're breeding sites, and at this temperature, with that rainfall, these guys are going to complete a generation every week. The newest thing on the block is this. This is called a GAT. It's a gravid 80s trap. This is a technique. You put a hay infusion, water and some leaves or grass in there. The 80s mosquitoes, like the Asian tigers, will fly in here. And as we talked about before, it's like Hotel California. Once they're in, you can never leave. And
how effective? So one of those, 10 of them, what do you need?
What they've actually found is that where you can get a community to do this, and this is best done on a community-wide basis, number one, eliminate those breeding sites. But what they found is that if you place several of these, get all your neighbors to put a couple of these in your yards, you can actually reduce those mosquito populations. And that's the critical feature here. Sure.
I thought you brought a trash can for us as a gift.
Well, it's a trash can for mosquitoes. As I said, this one will trap the dreaded Asian tiger mosquitoes, those day biters. And this has worked very effectively in other countries. They've actually found it can reduce populations of mosquitoes and decrease the incidence of important mosquito-borne diseases like chikungunya virus.
Let's talk to our viewers. Prince George's County, this is Joyce. Thank you for the call. Go ahead.
Hi, I'd like to know if using essential oils on your body will, like lavender or tea tree or eucalyptus, will repel mosquitoes when you're outside.
Joyce, thank you.
That's a great question, Joyce. Again, that oil of lemon eucalyptus is an essential oil. As I said, this one's going to give you 4 to 6 hours of protection. Some of the other essential oil products will give protection. They work effectively. The issue here, or the situation, is they simply don't give as long lasting protection as something like oil of lemon eucalyptus, picaridin, or DEET would. We measure that kind of repellency probably in minutes or hours at best, whereas some of these other things are going to give 8 hours of protection. Your essential oils may only give minutes to perhaps an hour or two of protection. They work well, but just for shorter periods of time.
Viewer emails wants to know, are some of these sprays dangerous either from a respiratory standpoint or through the skin?
Got it. Really important that you always read the label. There'll be precautionary statements on the label. Only use it as directed. If you apply these according to label directions, you're going to be fine. But please read those label directions. And by all means, when you're using these with children, don't let the kids get these things and slather them on. Help your children put them on. Again, when you put them on your kids' faces, put them on your hands. You're going to put it like this, up and down the arms, and always help those kids put them on. But number one, read those precautions on the label.
Viewer wants to know if there's anything that works that doesn't smell bad. Her husband is allergic to all odors.
That's a pretty tough one. In that case, what I recommend, and oftentimes when I'm traveling into really mosquito-infested places where I'm worried about yellow fever or malaria, I'm going to wear insect-repellent clothing. There are several lines of clothing that have been pre-treated with permethrin, a very, very effective mosquito repellent. These are going to be good for more than 20 washes, and they work wonderfully. You can also buy permethrin and apply it to your own clothes. Put it on, let it dry. This does not go on skin, okay? This only goes on clothing, but that's going to give fantastic protection when you're in heavily mosquito-infested places, and it's not going to have an odor that some would find disagreeable.
That's good news. Call from Baltimore City. This is Michelle. Michelle, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hi.
Can I
Hey,
ask
Michelle.
a question?
Sure.
Okay, well, you had mentioned the clothing, and that was a question I was thinking of earlier. Is if I spray the clothing with the repellent, like say, just a store-bought repellent, does it need to go on my skin also, or can I? Because I did try it the other night with just on my clothes, and it seemed to work. And then the second question is, I seem to get these huge welts every time I get bit by a mosquito, and they last for 3 weeks. And they itch intently, and I notice my family members and my friends don't suffer the way that I do. So I'm just wondering why that happens to me.
Sorry to hear that, Michelle. Thank you.
Yeah, Michelle, unfortunately, everybody is going to have a different kind of reaction to a mosquito bite. I tend not to react very much. You obviously react very strongly. So that's an individual response to the actual proteins that mosquitoes are injecting as they feed in you. And I sympathize. I know these can be very, very itchy. But let me drive back to your other question, circle around on that one. Sure. These can go on over clothing is fine. They can be applied to clothing. The thing you want to be careful with, of course, with DEET products, you never apply these to skin and then put clothing on top. With DEET and several others, they can be applied over clothing and on exposed skin, but not underneath clothing. So please don't do both.
Citronella candles help at all?
Sure. Basically, anything that's burning will help repel mosquitoes. There's been documentation that citronella candles, tiki torches will all have a moderate effect. The other thing I do, Jeff, when I'm sitting out on the patio, entertaining, having a little party, I'll get a couple big box fans or oscillating fans out on the patio. It creates a nice breeze. But also, mosquitoes are not strong flyers. So if you can create a bit of a breeze on your patio, it's going to help keep those biters at bay and help your guests cool off a little bit on a nice summer evening.
Do you have the fan pointed towards your neighbor, or?
Well, that would be the generous thing to do. I try to have a couple set up so everybody benefits.
You get the vortex going.
Yeah, we get it going.
Call from Washington. This is Robbie. Robbie, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Hey there. I'm a gardener here in the Eastland Gardens neighborhood. We're right next to the aquatic gardens, and we are in just mosquito territory here. I get bitten up
yes,
all day that
Robbie.
I'm out there.
Yep.
Yeah, and I do organic gardening practices. I got a lot of beneficial living organisms in my garden.
Wonderful.
So I was wondering if you happen to know of like this year's best like yard fogger that might, not harm the beneficial insect population and just kind of go after the mosquitoes. I got bait buckets with the mosquito dunks in it, and it's doing minimal.
Sure.
Thanks very much. You could get some bats, right?
Well, bats will help a little bit, but I hear where you're coming from, Robbie. No question about that. And there at the aquatic garden, certainly, you've got a lot of water. You've got a lot of potential for breeding here. There are several different kinds of products on the market. Some contain things like permethrin, which is going to give several weeks of control in and around your landscape. But yes, indeed, many firms are offering essential oil type sprays. They're marketed as perhaps organic or garden friendly, and they're going to be based with various kinds of essential oils that will give you perhaps weeks of protection. So sure, perimeter treatments can help to keep those mosquitoes down, but unfortunately, with the volume of standing water and container breeders in places like D.C., there's going to be blood this summer and a lot of biting, going on until the rains stop, I'm afraid.
Professor Mike Raup, University of Maryland, still doing the blog, Bug of the
Week.
Bug of the Week blog.
Yes.
Look for it online. Thanks for stopping by.
Always a pleasure, Jeff.
Don't forget to take the mosquitoes.
I
When we
won't.
come back tonight, breaking the cycle of loneliness for senior citizens.
Got an unused vehicle going nowhere? Donate it to the one place that can take you any place. Visit mpt.org/vehicles and support the programs you love on MPT.
The MPT app puts our programs right at your fingertips, so you can choose when to watch, what to watch, wherever you want to watch it. Download it now.
Are you turning 70 and a half this year? If so, you generally have to start spending down your retirement account. Even the minimum distribution can place you in a sticky situation. Luckily, you can now use your IRA to make tax-free gifts. Gifts up to $100,000 will never count as income, but always make a difference. That's icing on the cake.
Make your gift for this year before December 31st. Visit mpt.org/support.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
Hi, my name is Justine, and I would like you to vote for my favorite book of all time, To Kill a Mockingbird. The main character, Atticus, is a quiet man who goes about his everyday life as an attorney, defending someone who's been wrongly accused of a horrible crime. And a lot of people surrounding him thinks he should just quit and give up. It's not worth it. I love stories about relationships and characters, and really getting to know who the characters are and what motivates them to do the things that they do. And I think this story tells about the worst that humanity can do to one another, the worst things that people can do to one another, how they can lie about things and just be cruel to one another. But it also ultimately tells a story of the best of humanity, and I think it just is a wonderful story, and I hope you enjoy it.
Vote now at mpt.org/Great American Read.
Joining us for this week's Primetime Living, produced in partnership with the Maryland Department of Aging, are Diane Martin, Director of the Center for the Study of Aging at McDaniel College. Also, Bonnie Glick, the Deputy Secretary of the Maryland Department of Aging. Thanks to both of you for being with us.
Thank you for having us. Thanks for having us.
So people are living longer. Good news. People are living, trying to be independent as long as possible, and we have people living independently for longer. More people in that category is what I'm getting at. What are the pros and cons? What should we worry about?
With aging in place, it's always good because it helps to keep expenses down in later life when we think about long-term care, for example. But one of the drawbacks to that is that as people age, in particular once we reach about the age of 80, our social networks also begin to decline. We have loss of spouse, and the social network perhaps that accompanies that loss of the spouse, maybe loss of siblings and friends. Our family moves away. We're a very mobile society, and so our family moves away, and so it really decreases the social connectedness perhaps that we have with others.
So you define that as isolation?
Well, we have to differentiate between social isolation and loneliness. So social isolation is when we look at the number of social relationships that someone has, so it's very objective. We can look at someone and say they have 4 very close family members that they communicate with on a regular basis, but they may look at that and say, well, I have that number of people, but I don't feel like I can open up to them, that I'm not really able to connect with them. Maybe they're not really listening to me, and so they may still feel lonely. And the opposite, we may have someone who has only one very close friend, sister, that they confide in on a regular basis, talk to on a regular basis, and they may not feel lonely.
quality, not quantity, in
Exactly.
terms of the contacts.
Exactly.
So Bonnie, when you look at this statewide, you identify a need, and how do you respond?
Well, Jeff, it's a great question, and it's a big problem. As you noted, we're a society that is going to have more and more older adults. In the Maryland Department of Aging, we talk about older adults basically as being age 65 and older. And our motto is that older people should live well and age well. And one of the ways that the studies indicate that people age well is if they can age in place, age in their home, age in their community, surrounded by their family, their friends. Even when family moves away, staying connected is a very important component. In the Department of Aging, we looked at the landscape of older adults and thought, it makes sense to have a program that addresses statewide what happens if somebody has an accident, somebody falls, and they can't reach anyone. And Governor Hogan has been very important in helping us push out a message of you need to be able to stay connected and you need to age safely in your home. We've come up with a program, it's actually the first in the nation in the state of Maryland, where we're instituting a program now called the Senior Call Check program. And the program itself is designed to help people receive a call every day to ensure that they're able, at a minimum, to answer the phone. If they are able to answer the phone, then it's determined that they haven't had any kind of bad accident, a fall, or anything like that.
So we're trying to help out the senior citizen, but I imagine it's also helpful to the relatives, exactly, to know that there's this process happening. When did you get started?
It's just begun. We're enrolling people now online, and your point about the caregivers is critical. You're a son or a daughter and you live several towns over, or you live in the next state. How can you be sure that mom or dad who's living on their own is okay? And the idea of this phone call is that if they don't answer the phone, and it'll be an automated call, they'll call back 2 more times. And if the older person still doesn't answer, they will have pre-designated an alternate or an emergency contact, their son or daughter, a friend or a neighbor, somebody who can then follow up with a call or a visit to them to make sure that they're not languishing.
We've all seen the ads for whatever the I've fallen and I can't get up product is. This is not that.
This absolutely is not that, and it's not a substitute for any kind of alert system. It's really a community-focused system that's being set up so that older adults can stay in their communities and age in their homes comfortably and with a sense of security.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question about this new system or advice for aging in place independently and successfully, give us a call. Numbers on the screen, or email livequestions@mpt.org. Other advice, what comes to mind that makes some people successful in this?
Successful at aging?
For a long time and living the life they want to live.
Yeah, so we, in gerontology, we always look at that biopsychosocial relationship that we don't...
Biopsychosocial.
Social, yeah. So we don't age in a vacuum. We're not defined by our health status. We're not defined by our social connections. We're not defined by our mental well-being or intellectual well-being. That someone who is socially isolated can actually experience significant physical decline because they are not connected with other people. It can begin to affect their mental well-being as well.
Does that mean everybody should avoid, if they can, being isolated?
Yeah, absolutely.
There are some loners out there who are reveling in it?
Well, you know, the research on later life is very similar to some of the research that came out in the 1940s and 50s on infants who were being raised in orphanages, and infants who were physically healthy were dying because they didn't have that social connectedness. And we're seeing the same thing happen to our older adult population, where life expectancy is reduced in people who are socially isolated. They are more likely to be admitted to long-term care at a younger age than people who are socially connected. They utilize health resources at a higher rate than people who are socially connected. They bounce back into the emergency departments. There's some research out of Los Angeles showing that retired veterans, older veterans, utilizing the VA medical system, if they're socially disconnected, they have a readmit rate within a year that's over 50%. So it's really important.
Fascinating.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, we can't just look at the physical health of the individual to determine what their outcome's going to be. We have to look at what resources are available to them as well.
Bonnie, tell us about eligibility for the Call Check program, where people can get more information.
Sure, good. Eligibility is any Maryland resident, age 65 or older. The best place to go easily to get information and to sign up for the program is at the Maryland Department of Aging website. It's www.aging.maryland.gov. And we have a whole list of frequently asked questions that are there, loads of information about the program.
And the call is not going to go out at midnight, right?
No, it'll go out at a time that the older participant chooses, sometime in the morning or sometime in the afternoon.
Very good. Bonnie Glick, Diane Martin, thank you for your time. Thanks
Thank you
for
so
being
much.
here. Coming up Thursday on Your Money in Business, how to treat your taste buds for less during Restaurant Week. Find out more Thursday at 7. Now, for all of us at MPT, I'm Jeff Salkin. Thanks for watching Direct Connection, and have a good night.
This program was made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities.